Hello, and good day, my lovely people. Oh my goodness. I just changed my cabin air filter for my car. And so, like, when you go get an oil change, if you drive, and if you don't drive, there is maintenance to be done on the vehicle that you use. It's a machine, so it needs regular maintenance. All machines need regular maintenance in order to keep them running and keep them in optimal shape, right? And I found, because me and like my children, we'd be up and down the highway. I'm a driver. I love to drive. I love to go all over the place. And then also for my job, I drive a lot. And I found that when I was turning on my air, we got to, just coughing, sneezing, throat kind of feel a little, itchy and scratchy after a while. And I'm just like, what's going on? And so for a while, I ignored it. And then, something told me, okay, something's not right, because we were fine when we got in the car. A couple hours later, we're not fine. It's not just because we're going from, one state to another, from Texas to Louisiana. It's not just that. It has to be something else. So I started doing some research, naturally, because I wanted that to stop. And I'm just like, okay, well, what is it? My car is clean. I be having a lot of stuff in here, but I keep it clean. So I'm like, car is clean. What is going on? Well, I found out that there is a filter for the air inside. And, please show me some grace. We don't know what we don't know, right? And that's not something that I was ever taught or, I ever knew about. I knew about when you get an oil change, they say you want to change your air filter. Okay, yes. And, now that I've changed out my own in-cabin air filter, it looks totally different. So that's not the one that they're changing, of course, right? It's a totally different air filter. So although I know that, I wasn't thinking about, okay, are there filters in other places that can be changed, that need to be changed, and that I can change? So found out that yes, there is a cabin air filter that needs to be changed. And what I did, and no, these people aren't paying me. I am, not an affiliate of them, but I got good service from them. They were quick. They are filterheads.com. 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 And so also what I learned today is, they recommend on a little card to replace your cabin filter after 15,000 miles or 1 year. And just in case any of you would be interested in utilizing them, this is that little card. This is their information. Write it down. www.filterheads.com. And their toll-free number is 855-598-8551. And this is a reminder card. You write down the part number that you need for your vehicle, for the filter, and the date of installation, and the mileage. So whichever comes first, 15,000 miles or 1 year, they recommend changing it. Now, you guys, and I should have took a picture. I'll tell you like this: the darkest of gray, dust, filth, nastiness, had a couple of bugs on it. When I pulled that filter out, I regretted not grabbing it with some gloves. It was barehanded it. It was so filthy and nasty. And see, my vehicle that I have now is a 2015 year. I don't think that filter has ever been changed. And it was the darkest of dark, right before pretty much you can get to black on a gray scale. And took that thing out. I was holding it, carefully, because I didn't want to hit it and the dust just go everywhere, and the nastiness, the dead bugs. And, took it out, wrapped it up, put it on the side, and then I put in a new filter, pristine white. From white to that nasty, almost black. We were breathing that in, because at that point, the filter that was in there can no longer filter out the contaminants that are coming in whenever I'm running the AC, whenever I'm running the heater. And this whole situation just reminds me to, in my personal life and other areas of my life, in my spiritual life, okay, if there is something that is off, something that's, just not quite right, we need to look at that thing. Pay attention to it, take heed to it, and say, okay, something's off, something's not right. What is going on? And then we need to dig deeper into it and figure out what's going on, because it could be something that we can change quickly, that we can alter immediately, that we can tweak a little bit to make a significant change. We can do that, and I think that we should be doing that in our day-to-day lives with most everything that comes up. If something feels a little bit off, dig deeper into that thing. Dig deeper into it to figure out, okay, why is this not feeling right? Why is that not, I'm not vibing with that? What is off about that? And when you ask that question and you really start to sit with it, you pray, you ask God for clarity, you start to sit with it, you start to do research on that thing, whatever it may be, you will find out, okay, is it me or is it from an outside source? Okay, if it's me, what am I doing that I need to stop doing? Or what am I doing, or what am I not doing that I need to begin doing? And then that also has avenues that you can go down and do more research to figure out and pinpoint exactly what you need to do in order to change that feeling, that situation, that vibe, whatever it is. If it's not you, you find out, hey, it's not me. It's another thing. It's somebody else. Okay, what is it about that somebody else? What is happening? What is really being said? What is really being done? When those things are being done, how do I receive it? How do I internalize it? How am I feeling about it? And we can really start to improve our situations and improve our lives by changing those things. And then when you start to do that, your life is going to start to change in a major way. Because what I know is, after living a little bit of life, right, we get used to situations that aren't good for us. We get accustomed to feelings that are not positive. We acclimate to things that we should not be just sitting in. And now that I thank you, Holy Spirit, now that I'm saying that, it reminds me of the saying that, if a person puts a frog in a pot of cold water and starts to heat it up gradually, just, of degree Fahrenheit at a time, just go, up a little bit, up a little bit, up a little bit. The frog will regulate its temperature to get used to whatever the degree of the water is, and never jump out when it starts to get too hot for it to live. So it ends up boiling because it regulated itself so much that it didn't really realize and didn't really notice that, hey, this water is getting too hot for me to actually survive in. I need to get up out of here. Let me jump up out this water. And we as people, we end up doing that in our lives. And so we sit in things that are dysfunctional. We sit in things that are uncomfortable. I'm not saying that, we shouldn't have things to go through, because the Bible talks about, if we suffer for, Christ's sake, that we need to count it all joy. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about living and believing that the states of negativity, that states of uncomfortableness forever, for life, that we believe that that's okay. And that we believe it so much that we don't even notice it. But it's steadily eating us up. Got our cortisol up. We steady having anxiety all the time. We feeling like we can't deal with people. We always, just don't want to just be bothered and things like that. Something is going on and something is happening, or maybe has been happening, that needs to be addressed. So start looking for those things that aren't right. Hey, when I, go here, I go there, I'm always feeling some type of way. When I eat this, something as simple as that, when I eat this, I get itchy. Okay. You need to do, go and speak to an allergist, or, do a little skin test or something like that. You may be allergic. It may be something that you're not even supposed to be putting into your body. But because you grew up on it and somebody made you sit there and eat that, and it's a part of your culture and what you grew up on and what that this is what I'm supposed to be eating, this is what we eat. You might be sitting there eating something, ingesting something that your body is saying, this is killing me. This is not good for me. I'm having a reaction. When you eating something, you drinking something, you got to immediately go to the bathroom and you emptying your bowels, and it's not a laxative. You need to dig into that thing. I need to change my diet. I need to start, tweaking some things. I need to find a substitute for that. If you always, you move a certain way and you have like an extreme amount of pain, it shouldn't always be like, oh, well, I'm getting older, things break down. No, stop believing things like that. Stop believing things like that, because there are people out here who decided not to believe that thing. They in their 80s, they're in their 70s, looking good, feeling good, no arthritis, working on their cellulite, they body looking amazing. They have kept their temple tip top. So this ideology that as we age, we have to look a mess. As we get older, everything looks a mess, is not true for everybody. It's not true for everybody, because we should be taking care of ourselves and paying attention to what our body is telling us, paying attention to what our spirit is telling us is off, and making sure that we take steps to fix that thing, and we take steps to tweak it so that we aren't living in constant pain, constant upset stomach, constant anxiety. Those things are not normal. Those things are not natural. And I implore you today, if you are living like that, it's not normal. Sit down with the Lord. Ask him to reveal to you the things that you have accepted as truth, and they're not his truth. Ask him to illuminate those things, and then help you to eliminate those things. A step at a time, a small step at a time. It doesn't have to be crazy change right now, because those type of changes are not sustainable for most people. But once you identify something, ask the Lord to help you how to tweak that thing, how to change it up a little bit at a time. And over time, you will notice that thing getting better. I'm so excited about breathing, going on a trip and me and my baby's not sniffling and eyes itching and, all of that, at the end of the trip, at the end of the little road trip. I'm happy that I found that and I figured that out. And I'm happy to share that with you all. So, like I said, again, if you want to do some research, if you have your own car, if your mom has a car, your dad has a car, somebody that has a car, tell them about it. Hey, have you ever changed your in-cabin air filter? You ever heard of that? Well, look it up. Pull out the glove compartment and, go check it out. Look up a YouTube video of how to get in there. Mine was so easy. I looked up a YouTube video about it, and it ended up being even easier than what the YouTube video said. And I thought that was easy. Of what I saw in the YouTube video with the gentleman, he was explaining it. So again, I went to filterheads.com and I got my filter, my in-cabin filter for my vehicle, and I changed it. I believe that old filter was in there since this car got put together. That's just how bad it looked. 8 years, because we're in 2023 now at the time of this video. 8 years of filth and nastiness, and I was, and I got the vehicle, used and but in good condition, but I didn't know, the inner workings, but I'm glad that I figured that out. I found that out, and I was able to help that and fix that. This is something that I'm going to add into my regimen. It's something that I'm going to add into my regimen. I'm going to write down the part number. I'm going to write down the date of installation, which is today. And I'm going to write down my mileage. So either when I do another 15,000 miles or after 1 year. And I'm going to set an alarm on my phone through my calendar, my cloud calendar, just so that I know that this is something that needs to be done. And stay tuned for the next video. I'm gonna be talking about something else that we need to be doing on a regular basis as well. But I love you with the love of the Lord. I thank you for being here. Please subscribe, like, share my content, comment. Yeah, do all of that. Love you. And until next time, bye.